Leadership in Universities, the hidden engine behind academic growth. Welcome to Pedagogo, the channel where I turn scientific research into reflections that help us understand education and society through knowledge and critical thinking, supported by artificial intelligence. Today, we'll explore how leadership plays a decisive role in the development of academic groups within universities, based on the research of Belinda Izquierdo García and Juan Schuster Fonseca. Their article, "The Leadership, a Factor That Contributes to the Development of Academic Groups in Universities," takes us deep into the real challenges that higher education institutions face when trying to build true academic communities. Let's begin by understanding what academic groups are. In Mexican universities, cuerpos académicos, or academic bodies, are teams of full-time professors who share one or more lines of research and collaborate to generate and apply knowledge. These groups are supposed to be the backbone of educational innovation and research quality. However, the study reveals that many of these groups struggle to function as true communities. They often exist only on paper, lacking collaboration, shared goals, and leadership. The authors explain that leadership is not simply a title or position. It's a social process, a dynamic interaction where one person's influence inspires and guides others toward collective goals. Drawing from classical thinkers like Henry Fayol, leadership is presented as a management principle that connects motivation, communication, and coordination. But what kind of leadership works best in an academic environment? The study describes three fundamental styles: authoritarian, democratic, and liberal. The authoritarian leader takes all decisions alone, enforcing obedience and control. It can produce efficiency but often kills creativity and initiative. The liberal leader, on the other hand, gives total freedom to the team, which can easily result in disorganization and low productivity. Finally, the democratic leader encourages participation, listens to colleagues, and promotes shared decision-making. According to Izquierdo and Schuster, none of these styles works alone. Effective leadership must adapt, sometimes being firm, other times participative, depending on the team's maturity, motivation, and goals. This adaptive approach echoes the classic sociological work of Max Weber, who defined three pure types of authority: legal, traditional, and charismatic. In universities, legal authority often dominates, based on bureaucratic rules, merit, and hierarchy. But academic life also depends on charismatic authority, the personal influence and inspiration of a respected scholar or mentor who can unite people around shared ideals. Interestingly, the study also links leadership to the theory of social systems developed by Robert K. Merton. Merton emphasized that every organization functions through both manifest and latent functions, the visible goals and the hidden dynamics that sustain or harm the system. When academic groups fail to communicate or collaborate effectively, their latent dysfunctions, like mistrust, ego clashes, or lack of motivation, start to erode their performance. One of the most concerning findings in the article is the disintegration of many cuerpos académicos at the Universidad Veracruzana. Despite having national programs like PROMEP that aim to strengthen research collaboration, many groups remain weak. Data from 2009 showed that 71% of academic bodies were still in early stages of formation. Only 20% were consolidating, and less than 9% had achieved full consolidation. The researchers also highlight a serious issue: an aging academic workforce. More than half of full-time professors were over 55 years old, and less than one-third held doctoral degrees. Health issues and burnout further affected productivity, and only around 10% of the faculty were part of Mexico's national system of researchers. These numbers point to a structural problem. Universities depend on leadership not just for management, but for survival. Without committed leaders capable of fostering teamwork, research, innovation, and emotional cohesion, academic bodies fall apart. Leadership here isn't about authority, it's about empathy, vision, and perseverance. Izquierdo and Schuster also provide a fascinating case study: the academic body studies of human capital in organizations. This group evolved from a disciplinary focus on human resources into a broader, multidisciplinary investigation of human capital and organizational behavior. Its success came from strengthening group leadership, embracing collaboration, and building networks with institutions in Latin America, Europe, and North America. The study highlights how academic leadership extends beyond the local context, connecting research communities across borders and fostering social responsibility through education. However, not everything was easy. Even this successful academic body faced crises, from retirements and illness to internal conflicts. Yet the authors note that self-reflection and constant evaluation allowed the team to redefine its leadership structure. By prioritizing collective leadership over individual control, they managed to rebuild trust and purpose. The article concludes with a strong message. Universities need to cultivate new leaders. Many academic groups are still led by the same people for decades, following rigid patterns that limit innovation. The authors recommend rotating leadership roles, forming collaborative networks, encouraging joint research, and even implementing preventive health programs for professors to sustain their long-term performance. In essence, the study reminds us that leadership in academia is not a privilege, it's a responsibility. A true academic leader is someone who transforms individual talent into collective knowledge, who sees beyond their ego and works for the progress of the institution and society. This information is based on the article El liderazgo, un factor que contribuye al desarrollo de los grupos académicos en las universidades, written by Belinda Izquierdo García and Juan Schuster Fonseca, published in 2010 in the journal Investigación Administrativa, issue 106, by the Instituto Politécnico Nacional, IPN, Mexico. The article examines the structural and human factors influencing the disintegration or consolidation of academic bodies, emphasizing leadership as a key strategy for institutional development. At Pedagogo, I believe that scientific research like this helps us rethink what education means. Universities don't only need professors, they need leaders who can inspire others to grow. Before we end, I want to leave you with a question. What kind of leadership do you think your university or workplace needs today? Authoritarian, democratic, or something in between? If you enjoyed this reflection, remember to subscribe and join this space where science and education meet to transform the way we understand the world. I'm Mao Chianti, and I am a pedagogue.